Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing the Legend Sentai Joint Gattai Dekaranger Robo. Now basically what this is what Joint Gattai is basically has two purposes. For one, they do provide a Legends class sized Robo, as these are very small little Robos, and very miniature, but still very accurate to how they looked in the show and to the original toys. And two, they provide a similar service to Mugenbines. If you don't know what Mugenbine is, basically it's a series that's basically, I don't think they ever came to America, I think they were only in Japan. But the general idea is that they are figures that transform from vehicles to animals to robots and even combine together, using mainly part forming on a series of pegs and peg holes that are specialized to kind of hold together. And this is using the same idea where there's no hinges, no ball joints, all the transformation is done through part forming. It's a pretty cool idea, and it makes for some interesting figures. Like I said, these are about legend size, very small figures. I mean, this figure when in robot mode is about the same size as a deluxe Transformer. But they are very simplified in details, and other gimmicks that were related to the original figures are gone. Like, for one example, this does not have the sword or any of the other weapons from the original figure. Or any of the other gimmicks, as if you remember with this one, Deca Machine Patrol Signar, I believe it's called. On the original, this would flip up to kind of reveal like a police badge of some type. But that's not present here. Or the gyros, I believe, actually spun or something on the original. There's like all the gimmicks that are on the original are not present on these figures. Neither can they even roll. They don't even have wheels. Even on the big one, like Dekaranger Patrol Striker or Deca Machine Patrol Striker. No wheels or anything on the bottom. I mean, they still look alright, but no wheels or anything. They pretty much are just kind of meant to be displayed like this or used for parts. Now, in this particular one, we do get 5 mecha, and they are able to break down to about 15 parts, which I'll show later. But starting off, we are going to start with a Signer here. And you see, it is kind of just one part. There's just the fist that is attached to it. You don't really have to attach the fist. You can just set that to the side, and you have a pretty nice little Signer here. I mean, it's legend size. It doesn't break down to any more parts. Unlike the like Gao King figure who broke down, like even the individual Zords broke down further, this one doesn't break down any further. Now it actually has more parts in that figure, but you actually have a couple of Zords that are pretty solid. It's mainly the other three that break down further. But it's got all the details you expect. It's got lots of paint details. You got the red, you got the black, got the windshield, you got the wheels painted, you got the little pink sides. It's pretty nice. Very similar for the Patrol Armor, I think it's called, which is kind of like a hovercraft thing. You can see from there. You can actually see where the piece that would normally form a sword is kind of detailed into there, because I believe this piece normally detaches to form a sword. But it does have all the paint detail. It has all the detailing you expect, all the sculpting, and looks pretty nice. And then there is a Patrol Trailer, and he comes in 2 pieces. And that's actually pretty cool, because it does mean you can have like a Deca trailer just by itself. And it's painted pretty nice. It's got number 3, got the windshield, got everything you expect. Same here, got like a little siren piece. The one thing is, the trailer might look kind of broken, as it is meant to be like kind of slanted for the robot mode. But it does look pretty decent. And then there is a Patrol Gyro, and pretty much the same story here. The one thing is you do have like blue right here, breaking up all this white, but you know, you got all the paint you expect. You got the number 2, got the windshield, got the red up here for the big old siren. And you even have the details on the inside for, like, guns. Which is pretty nice, because this was, like, kind of like a 6-chamber thing for the gun mode, for, like, the gun attack thing. So that's actually pretty cool. And then, of course, we have Striker here, who's, like, both got the biggest and nicest looking, the most detailed, but also kind of a lot of inaccuracy. As you can see, you got pegs just sticking out both ends. Plus, these wheels are kind of stuck slanted outward, like, or at least the rims of them are stuck slanted out in order to help form the robot mode. But nice big siren there. You got like the visor here, and you got like the little black along the bottom, big old number 1. And it's a pretty nice solid piece. The fist that I pulled off earlier, you can actually help hide them better if you take them and peg them to the back of the gyro here, which is another option if you want to keep them from sticking out. You still want them to be like on a part of one of the vehicles. But overall, they make a pretty decent team and a pretty decent representation of their mecha, or Zords if you prefer. And here we have them all broken down just to show you real quick. They are about 15 parts in total. Pink and yellow, I break down the 2 parts counting the fist. Blue breaks down to 4 parts thanks to the front and the gyro. Trailer only breaks down the 2, front, cab, and back. And then red actually breaks down the 5 parts counting the head. As you have like the windshield, the front, the back, top, all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And the only thing that's really like robot kibble is like the 2 hands and the head. And even then, they, like I said, there's places to hide them. So that's how many parts they break down into. I did want to show you how the like Mugenbein style joint Gattai system worked. Like say if you want to attach this piece to the top here, you see there's some clear plastic pegs there. You got a peg right there. And you just snap on top and it holds on pretty nicely. Granted, when you have like some of the heavier pieces, like when you have pink format arm mode, it will shake around a bit, but it doesn't come off. It does come off rather easily. Doesn't shake off, but just a simple push and it pops right off. So it's a pretty nice little system. I do think over time the clear plates might actually break, but overall they work out pretty well. So let's go ahead and get him to his robot mode. Alright, now we have Dekaranger in his robot mode, or if you want to go by the American name, SPD Squad Megazord. But look at him here, he actually looks pretty cool. Pretty good. Well, I almost said cool, I don't know why. But he actually looks pretty good for like a legend size figure that was done through part forming. And I mean, this is all part forming. You can see, it's actually really clever. It basically just simulates where all the hinges would be, like here, you know, kind of just have it come down. But what was really cool for me was that they actually pulled off the part here, popped it off and put it on the front here to kind of really simulate the legs flipping out. As on the original, the legs flipped out using hinges. So that is actually a pretty cool trick. I mean, he makes for a very, very accurate one. I mean, most of the joint Gattai are fairly accurate, but I think Dekaranger Robo here is probably the most accurate out of all of them. He looks really nice in this mode. He's got all the details you expect. I mean, you have these peg and peg holes all over him, but nothing that really stands out too bad. It still looks pretty good. It still looks like Dekaranger Robo. And he actually still has decent articulation. Gets a rotation at the head. Gets a rotation at the arm. Get a wrist rotation. Fully rotatable on both sides. Nothing at the legs or chest. But you do get rotation at the leg. And that's it. Nothing fancy, but you never really expect much from Megazords or Super Sentai Mecha. They were always very limited articulation. And he basically has all the articulation of the original. And I think actually a little bit more. I'm not really sure. I don't have the original Dekaranger Robo or the SPD Megazord. But he still looks pretty dang good. And I love some of the tricks he pulls off. Like I mentioned, the legs. But another trick he pulls off, if we pop off his head, I can show you this better. You can actually see he has a blue visor. But if you can see it, if I can get the camera to focus, I don't think it is. But he actually has yellow eyes still painted with the blue visor. But there's not a visor sculpted. They painted the eyes and the face silver and yellow, and then painted blue over it to give the impression of a visor. And you can actually see it from far away. He does have that blue like he has the visor. In the original, it was actually a visor sculpt on there, but here, it's actually just blue paint, and it works really well. Like, it looks very nice, actually. It's a really nice effect, and it's really neat to see. It just baffled me how much effort they put in just to get it looking that accurate, that well. I mean, not that Gal King or any of the others look bad, but this one pulls off a lot of neat tricks to really pull off the look he had in the show. He really does work as like a little legend scale Megazord that still transforms and has other gimmicks. Speaking of which, there are plenty of ports and pegs all over, like here. You can put like attach weapons or things that look like weapons to here. You could attach something as like an extra chest plate. You could attach like knee guards. There's even extra ports up here that if you say wanted to use this as a different body, or even here on the back. And funnily enough, this actually has 2 ports here to where if you actually remove this, then remove that, you could actually attach this and have that be the chest of the Megazord. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look good at all, but that is cool. You actually have like kind of some options for like if you wanted this instead, where you have 2 pegs to kind of work with. It's actually a really neat thing going on here. Attach that back, you can actually see there's room for both pegs to go in. Or you can add some extra heads here. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. One that is actually kind of official is not official to this toy, but official to the original show. Both of the legs have peg holes on the side and peg holes on the bottom. If you remember SPD or Dekaranger at all, you remember it's actually a combination where they actually use the legs from the Squad Megazord or the Dekaranger Robo as the arms, with the original arms on top, kind of like so. And you can actually kind of simulate that here. Now, granted, with Joint Gattai, the only figures released were main mechas, or main Megazords if you prefer. So, unfortunately, we would most likely never see kind of like a side mecha that would complete this combination. But it is really cool. You can kind of pull off the similar effect here. Not perfectly, mind you, but fairly close. So, I think that's a really cool, like, kind of just shows off what the gimmick can do, where you can actually pull off combinations that are actually accurate, that weren't really meant to be pulled off with this toy. Or I guess you could say they were meant to be pulled off. So yeah, I think he's a really cool figure. I actually do prefer him over Gao King. And that's not to say that's a bad figure or any of them, but just the accuracy and the extra effort I feel like they went to really pull off the look of Dekaranger Robo here. I think he's one of the best. So, this has been Nerdy Transformed. I hope you enjoy this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.